problematic. Mm-hmm.
Oof.
You know.
How's the baby?
Doing well. Doing well. Yeah.
Bro, ready for college now.
Oh God. I wish.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I used to say when my baby was little, like, I can't wait till she walks. And she start walking. Can't wait till she can talk. And
I mean, well, this is his 6'1" though. So.
It's my 7. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, lucky 7.
Remember, he's a guy with no legs.
Got a basketball game.
Number 7. No legs, no arms.
Right.
That's right. One eye.
He's talking about
now you can see the YouTube one eye.
He used that good.
It was my one good ear. That's right.
You're a nut. You know that?
Yeah, this one's coming here and teach y'all.
You know what your mom is?
You really got 7 kids, brother?
Close to
Yes. As it pertains to the recording on YouTube, yes, I have 7 children. 4 wives. Thank you, baby.
This nigga named Abraham.
Yeah. And I live in a little chateau in France.
That's funny. This nigga, yo, he's crazy. I heard he be recording y'all room too. Y'all close down as soon as he come in. This nigga crazy.
It's good times, good times. I just want to teach y'all. I'm about to go back home. In the cool. Bye.
Bye. You see, nobody even want to come up. Nobody even want to come and speak to us. Because it is mother freaker. And look at Roy, he quiet. He don't even want to talk to us. This is crazy. I can't.
Roy be talking.
I just wanted to be over. I just wanted to be over.
Now what Royal didn't tell you is he was outside twerking on Sunday too.
Oh, okay. What he said, he was DJing.
Yeah, he was doing the Citibank float.
Oh, really? That was our flow. Royal. No, I'm about to go pick on him. Yo, you gotta give me commission, bro.
Your husband used to DJ for us?
Yes, we had the Colin Lord and we had the Citibank float. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely did not have a...
Kim Royal's got
No, I'm not really so I gotta make shit up since you can't unmute.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think about, I read on this a little bit, but now the most common one though is they can't qualify for getting a number that allows them to get a bank account. Then eventually they can get a EIN number to where they can qualify to get their business. So once you get it in a business's name, then you can operate, if you're a landscaping company, things like that, you can operate everything through your business. That doesn't necessarily answer your question, but they do sell Social Security numbers on the dark web.
I understand that, Joe. What I'm saying is this is all being underlit by a nefarious structure that I don't think that we're acknowledging it for what it is. It's criminal enterprise. Identity theft, racketeering possibly, money laundering. Like it's just not good. I mean, how much of a percentage are these employers taking off the top of their employees' pay just to pay them under the table? A lot of these questions aren't being answered. So, I mean, it's I don't know, y'all. Like, I'm not trying to.
We have to feel like the answer. You're asking great questions, and there's a lot of answers to these questions that you're asking. Like and this is something that I think should be handled federally better, but it's not. Like the states, for example, California, liberal California.
Well, and you make a good point. This is a part of the sanctuary policies. It's not just, well, we're not cooperating with ICE. It's a broad structure, in my opinion, of just non-compliance, of overall resistance and obstruction of justice. They look the other way. So, I mean, it starts with a county that collects a lot of these, it's
intentional. It's intentional, Adam.
It is intentional, and that's what I'm saying. It's very criminal, and I don't think that people are calling it out for what it is.
Adam,
why is it?
Adam, let's get into the specifics of what they do in California. In California, if you're a resident of California, a legal resident of California, you could pay in-state tuition for college. And if you live in any other state in the union, you'd have to pay out of state if you came to California. However, they allow illegal immigrants to pay the in-state rate, so they treat illegal immigrants better than they treat people that come from other states. Not only that, they will also allow for scholarships and grants to fund them to go to school. Now, look, if California has that much money that they can give away a fucking education to illegal immigrants, then why the fuck aren't they solving their fucking homeless problem with the people that live in?
Not only that, Roger, but like I don't talk about this like a lot. I don't have any student loan debt, right? Because my parents paid for my entire college. So to me, it's very unfair that my parents were taxed working as corporate people that identify themselves, that expose their assets to the IRS, that pay their fair share of taxes. It's just not right that me being born and raised here, that I had less benefits extended to me, as a California resident next to a person who's here illegally. So yes, when you want to talk about the business that I work in, where, Americans, for one way or another, you have veterans that, are trying to age in place. They can't even get assisted living waivers to be able to age in place in a facility that's dignified. I'm not talking about high-end luxury. I'm talking about somewhere where you're going to have somebody that's actually going to show up and give you your meds on time and make sure that you don't sit in your shit for too long to get a UTI infection. Okay? There's money that's going towards people here illegally to support their health care when they go into a freaking emergency room. How fair is that, Roger? How fair?
It's not fair at all. Can I add?
And this is why I'm pissed, because aside from the college issue, having to pay out of pocket damn near $7,000-8,000 a month for my mom to age in place in an assisted living facility, I feel some type of way. I really do.
Yeah, can I add that there is a solution to some of the fiscal problem that happens that goes along with illegal immigrants, and that would be replacing the federal income tax, Social Security tax, Medicare tax with what's called the fair tax. And the fair tax would replace all of those things with a federally instituted sales tax, and there is no escaping the sales tax, because the people that come here, they're going to buy things, and so they might not have an income that they would be taxed on, but they would absolutely because they're receiving funding, they're just not paying their taxes in that fashion. I would say people should educate them on the fair tax. If they go to fairtax.org, they can get more information. Thank you.
Deport all the asses.
I think we should deport Adrian.
I think we should deport your ass. I think we should deport your ass to the
Guys need to get around. Get around, guys.
So hold on, let me just say this as well. As far as for the families out there, I don't know if anybody's in California has ever tried to put a child into freaking daycare, okay? That shit is freaking, like, it's like almost the cost of a 2-bedroom apartment. So if there's anything that should be subsidized in this damn state, it should be at least giving parents in a cost of living market the ability to go to work and to support their household if they absolutely have to, without the cost of childcare like this. Like, it's absolutely insane. So, I mean, to give illegals free healthcare to where they can just go into a freaking, a doctor's office and get, Ozempic, like, to me, no, fuck that. I'm sorry. I'm not cool with any of this.
Well, you know the one thing that I would be cool giving illegal immigrants when they come across the border? If there's one thing that we could give them when they come in, it would be birth control, so they don't have any of those goddamn children that become citizens on.
I don't want to pay for that. I don't even want to pay.
Hold on, that's a good. Necro, would you support castrating all the illegal males that come across?
How's your dog? Does that? It's sterilizing the women.
Why would I support sterilizing? You wanted to do it to Americans.
Wait a second. Can't we just give them a vasectomy? Why do we have to castrate them? Like, just fucking give them a vasectomy.
Children.
Just give them a vasectomy.
I'm just seeing if he's consistent. Earlier he had offered a solution to stop abortion by castrating men. So would you support doing that to illegals?
No. Like, I don't see how you can get it so wrong when you're the one who wants to, punish people for having sex.
So you're okay with castrating
This is crazy.
natural born Americans?
I don't understand why it is you have all the issues with women having sex, but you don't have the same level of honesty with
I don't understand why you have an issue with having locks on your doors. Let's have all the illegals come live with you.
Can I answer his question? Bella, let me ask you a question. Okay, you came from California, you moved elsewhere. Okay? Did you not see what young families had to deal with in struggling to provide health care for their damn children and the cost of it? Okay? Meanwhile, they were giving all of this freaking money to illegals.
I have one correction. I never lived in California, but I did pay for childcare for my kids, and it was close to $22,000 a year. And that was not in the state of California, that was in the state of Ohio. So I'm very familiar with how, actually, I think it was more. It was $28,000 a year. So at that point, you had to look at what it was worth to go to work versus pay for childcare. And I can only imagine that it was more in California.
Yeah, so when you look at...
Hold on. Let me ask Ryan. So do you support now, the federal government subsidizing the cost of raising all these illegal children here?
No.
So you're okay with the cutting down of Medicaid, because that's what it's focused on, right?
I'm for Medicaid reform. I mean, I think there's a lot of people here that need it, that have, out of their circumstances that are in their own control. I don't think anyone would choose to be on Medicaid if they didn't have to be.
It's not just Medicaid, Joe. Don't let him misrepresent you, okay? And I'm kind of joking with you, Ryan, because I'm trying to break some bread with you, okay? It's also the cost of sending them to our public schools.
Oh, I know, dude.
That's the quiet part out loud that people don't talk about. Like, people who are paying property taxes, or people who live in certain segments of this, the state of California, where even the renters directly pay towards property taxes by city ordinance. It's mind-blowing to me how people are supporting the efforts of illegal immigrants' children that are on lunch programs, right? You're occupying another seat, so now you're expanding classroom sizes, having to hire more teachers. The cost of this, I don't think that people are fully wrapping their heads around. It's not just the Medicare shit. It's many different other things. Vouchers and different incentives to allow their kids to be able to participate in school sports, cheerleading scholarships. There's some places where you put your kid in a cheerleading team, it's a $5,000 buy-in, okay? So, I mean, there's many different things as to why this is not fair. It's not fair to Americans. It's not fair to anybody who has to subsidize paying for this shit.
Well, at least Ryan's consistent, I guess, to a certain degree, but Necro's not. Right? Is that the game here, Ryan? Is that how we...
I guess. I don't know, man. I think that, we have a giant fucking problem that isn't being addressed, and both sides seem to be pointing to culture war bullshit issues that detract from the meat And when I asked you, for example, about abortion,
Did you support the recall of Gavin Newsom because he is he the one that?
He's a piece of shit. Yeah, I did.
And he's in your business, by the way. You know that.
He is,
Ryan.
yep.
He is in your business. Is he equally as effective, Ryan, in his business interests with the Getty family?
I think he owns a house in deep red.
Oh, he just bought a new house. He went from what I think it was like a $2 million house to a $5 to now a $12 million spread. That's crazy.
No, he's a piece of shit. And he's bought by PG&E. I think what I was trying to get at earlier,
because his dad used to be the general counsel of Getty Oil. Like, we were doing rooms on this on Clubhouse when people were just like, oh, Gavin Newsom, Larry Elder, and I was like, no. Like, you guys need to listen to what people actually know in California and follow the money. Look at the actual pedigree, right? Look at the ancestry and the way that people commingle, the network of people as they. Do you know that Gavin Newsom? Well, of course you know. He was married to Kimberly Guilfoyle, who was just, engaged to Donald Trump Jr. It's crazy to me how people just don't actually pay attention to the details.
She's the ambassador to
Greece.
Greece, yeah.
Meanwhile, Jeff Bezos married his pet horse over the weekend.
Yeah, she's ugly.
Alright, now, boys. She's not ugly. That's just stupid. Like, it's so petty. You sound like you're fucking in high school.
No,
like,
I thought that was John Leguizamo. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah,
Like that, no.
You literally, you sound very insecure. You sound like you have a small penis and that you drive a Hummer. Like, that is the stupidest thing. She's fucking gorgeous. Like, I mean, she's gorgeous. The dress sucked, but she is fucking gorgeous. So you literally sound like a small penis.
Not gorgeous. If you want to say she's not ugly, that's fine. But she's absolutely gorgeous.
Sorry, sir. Bella, have you seen it before and after her plastic surgery?
She used to be beautiful.
Nah,
I remember her when she was on the news out here. I used to watch her every morning getting ready for school. She used to be beautiful. Now it's just like, yeah, she became, Seabiscuit Bezos.
Yeah, she was naturally beauty. She was a natural beauty, and then it looks like after all the plastic surgery, it just looks awful. Bella, it looks awful.
All right, I can respect that you don't appreciate the surgeries that she had, but I mean, come on, let's be honest. Like, she's not ugly.
Yeah, but sometimes the surgeries are not like a positive. Like,
for sure.
There's
so many.
Right?
There's so many.
But, like, I've met twice now Kristi Noem, and she's gorgeous. She's done work.
She's one of the most beautiful women in Washington.
Beautiful, and she's done a lot of. Kristi Noem's done a lot of work, but she looks really good. It's just a question of whether it came out right or not.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. I was just in Venice, like, at the same hotel that they took over. I left, I guess, 4 days before the onslaught, and they were preparing for it at the hotel.
Abby.
And also, the people were bitching there about them coming in.
Abby, who's the hand job Republican chick?
Oh, Lauren Boebert?
Boebert, yeah, Lauren Boebert.
Yeah, she's not so bad. I'd hang out.
There's a whole bunch. The Polina.
Yeah. Abby, did Miriam attend?
Not to my knowledge.
Oh, she sat that one out.
I don't know. But they were all, so they took over the Gritty Palace. I mean, have you guys been to Venice? Any of you?
Venice Beach in California?
Yeah, and then it's Italy.
The fucking naked bitch?
Alright,
Oh, no,
you're not
it's
gonna argue with you,
Venice, Italy.
You're arguing with you, Joe, Matt, anyone else?
No, man, I'm thinking about Black Beach.
Necro, later.
Alright, good night, Ryan.
Later, Ryan.
Go ahead, Abby.
Anyway, they took over that hotel, and then I think the Europa, which is right by it. And it wasn't, but I think what I was reading was like only 200 people attended the wedding. Like it wasn't, a 500 guest wedding.
I heard that the guest list had a combined net worth more than the GDP of some countries.
Oprah was there, right?
I mean, Oprah, that's a joke.
They said she was invited.
No, I thought I saw her
Is
picture.
that really a status symbol? Like, on like these days, is having Oprah at your wedding like a good thing or a bad thing? I feel like it's like, ooh.
Well, yeah, they had to go through a lot to get Oprah there because she's under house arrest.
That's a big deal.
I'd like to see the Venn diagram. Hold on, Bella. Bella, hold on.
I was asking a question.
Real quick. I want to say this before the moment passes. I want to see the Venn diagram that compares the overlap with the Epstein flight logs as well as the Bezos attendees to his wedding.
That was
I would
kind of my
imagine that it's the
point.
same group.
That's kind of my point. Like, it's not. She's not a status symbol anymore.
Say that,
No.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing, Roger.
They're not the
I
same
think
people.
they're not. Wait, is that NY? Because NY is actually the entertainment.
Why would y'all say
They all
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
way more black people.
These are probably the only black women I can protect on this side.
Why did you get kicked off this time? Why do you have a party hat this time? Why'd you get kicked off?
Oh, that's a fun story.
What'd you do this time? What'd you do this time?
The whole room was done on it
For a
yesterday.
second, he really didn't do it. It wasn't his fault this time.
Oh, no fucking way. I don't believe you. Sorry.
We all kind of had a front seat for it.
So what happened? I gotta hear the story. Give me the deeds. I like gossip.
Some new people just kind of popped up on the app, and some of our day ones, allowed them some latitude, and so basically this person got me clipped. So they basically were in healthy debates. They called for me to be mass reported after calling a woman a bald-headed, potato-ass-looking bitch. And so they called for my mass reporting. No, but what was really crazy?
Well deserved.
No, I'm happy that it happened. Let me tell you
am
something. I don't know what it has done with my karma, but that shit professionally worked out so well for me. Like my phone was in my desk, and I was closing deals left and right. So for me personally, it was like, listen, hey, if you want to be mad, be mad. I'm gonna be mad on my burner that my account got clipped, which I'm probably gonna get back. I guess I got some email saying it's gonna be like in January, or not January, in July 28th. So yeah. On my final strike.
I was wondering why he had a party hat yesterday.
It's because he got himself clipped. He called someone a bald. What was it? A bald what?
Nappy-headed, you know how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Shower cap wearing.
That's really horrible.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, but she called me a faggot and told me I took it up the ass, and everybody knows on this app that I have irritable bowel syndrome, so that's definitely a lie. And so I feel like if you're gonna hurl a slur, I'm gonna, hurl a slur back. So, and I don't even feel like acknowledging the fact that she looked like Mr. Potato Head.
But you go to hell. You don't just throw a flashback, you go to hell.
Well, I mean, do you think that anybody's giving me any type of, peace cards? Like, no. So, I mean, if you're gonna say something to me, I'm gonna say something to you back. I don't go around attacking people on this app.
Yes, you do. You're so full of it. I've watched you do it like 100 times. You attack people all the time.
There were people in that room that were saying things much more.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
No,
okay.
He's like
I'm telling you, there were people that had come on that stage that said things much more egregious and much.
Oh, I believe that.
But
I believe that.
But there was a person who's newer that got modded and decided to tell everyone to mass report, which you just don't do. So
there's a lot of DEI hires in healthy debates.
Yeah, that was.
Well, it's progress, right?
By the end of it, Adams was vindicated. Cam came to his defense,
and did say that the woman had started it with him. So just to clarify.
Well, to clarify, a lot of these DNI hires are not black. I have you know, most DNI recipients are white women and white gay men.
No. A lot of them were Africans and Caribbeans. Nope, Africans, Caribbeans, the Haitians. Like, have you noticed that the Haitians are probably some of the most anti-Semitic on this app? Abby, have you noticed that? I mean, look at Lonzo. Lonzo is Hispanic. Haitians are Hispanic, and it's crazy how...
White women was.
No, I know he's from Philly, but I mean, Haitians anthropologically are Hispanic, are they not?
Black women never knew they were suppressed by men until white women told us that we were.
Excuse me?
We had no idea.
What did she say?
Black women really never had an idea that we were suppressed by men until white women
are oppressed.
Oppressed. And suppressed. Too. Suppressed. Suppressed and oppressed.
So let me ask you a question.
We never knew until white women told us, and then we were like, you know what? She's right. We're getting paid less.
What's your theory again?
A lot of black women didn't even know they were oppressed from certain things that were patriarchal by men, period, no matter what the color was, until white women told us.
Like what?
Feminism, period. Feminism wasn't started by black women.
No, Betty Friedan.
Period.
Gloria Steinem, right?
You've got a lot to smile about. He's been on the planet.
So that's why I said a lot of DNI hires, most of them were, and people that benefited from DNI was white women.
Hold on. So Abby.
I need money for my small business.
There's one.
Men have oppressed me.
So there's one point of context that I want to add. There have been many different waves of feminism. So if you want to look at the third and the fourth wave of feminism, they've actually been authored and penned by black women. So the accountability culture, Me Too, the intersectionality. No, hold on. The intersectionality. The intersection. No. But again, what does that have to do with calling a man a woman? And see, this is Matt. I'm glad that you brought this up. This is where black nationalism, okay, in its undertone of revenge, okay, intersects into the third and the fourth wave of feminism being penned by black American women. That's just my personal opinion.
How to sue for sexual harassment.
No, they did not.
We never had a clue on
how to do it. No, they did not. White women did not teach you that. So again, it was actually black women that taught you that. Like, let's talk about, Anita Hill. So I mean, like, what are we doing?
Long John Silver.
Matt, I'm sorry to.
Abby, are you hearing this?
I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to know if this is the after party. Is this a celebration room?
Yeah, the big beautiful.
For that big beautiful bill.
Oh, what's up, Angel?
What's up, Adam? How are you?
Good, I got clipped.
Hey, Angel, you know I'm not lying. White women taught us how to say, oh, men are suppressing us. We was like,
But that's not true.
She's right.
Adams, I'm proud of you. What you get clipped for?
These white women are really right. These men are fucking suppressing us.
I'll tell you in the back channel. But,
okay. All right, I'm proud of you, by the way.
Thank you. I
Shout out to
appreciate
getting
that.
clipped.
So, looking at the feminist movement that has deployed the same type of culture war that black women are engaging in, which, by the way, I find it to be very interesting that I got clipped for calling a black woman a bald-headed potato head bitch. When you have a black woman on this app that has Niggly Bear copyrighted, which, again, is a conjunction between nigger and a bear. So it's very interesting to me how everybody wanted to have this fake outrage and call for me to be mass reported when we have known for several years that there is somebody on this app that literally has a copyright for the word Niggly Bear. A black woman.
I gotta ask, did you call her a chia pet too?
I did. Yes, I did.
I died when I heard that.
Yeah, so I'm afraid to even ask for a reset because I heard something.
No, okay, so this is what it is. Like, she was calling me all types of choice words, and then when I responded in like kind in what I said, which, again, I don't feel like what I said was a slur. I knew it was offensive. That's why I said it. But again, I don't feel like it was a colloquial slur. She did look like Mr. Potato Head. You know, I could have called her a lot worse. I could have called her Mr. Potato Head, you know. I'm not going to go down that road. You know, I'm a work in progress. But again, it was one of those things where I called her the Chia Pet. I put my phone at my desk, went and did what I had to do, you know, closed a bunch of sales, and then came back, and I heard the CO asking for me to be mass reported. And I texted Jay and just asked him, like, yo, like, it's one thing if he's going to move Sig down because he got in his fee-fees, but it's an entirely different thing that now he's using the house to ask for people to be mass reported, which is also a violation of the terms and conditions of the clubhouse.
Okay, alright, Dr. Epps, with all due respect, I know I opened this can of worms, but this is a really freaking boring conversation. So can we please move on? Like, nobody cares how you got clipped. To be completely honest, we all know it's gonna happen. It happened, it's gonna happen again. Like, we really appreciate you, and I opened it, but can we please shut this conversation down?
I actually am the one who asked him. Oh my god.
Oh, no, I totally started it. I asked him why he had a party hat. It was my fault.
The kind of people talk about anti-realism, right? And that you know people are
No, really, it's a really boring conversation. Like,
And that is very real. You sound I was gonna say you sound like you're protecting.
There's so much bullshit, and we're all doing it so much. Because he thinks
it's a really boring conversation.
No, we're not doing that. Bella's very spicy.
All of us feel like
very spicy black woman.
Having an opinion on it.
I want to know why Sarah hasn't been clipped for this information. She was saying that there's no construction happening in the Palisades. Because my PTR, there's construction happening in the Palisades all the time. She got me so annoyed, I literally drove across town just to take pictures.
Your picture is showing a clean, burned home. I don't see
because there's construction happening.
I have a
Wait, Abby, before you go into that, I just want you to PTR again. Okay, look at that wood frame. Look at that beautiful wood frame, Sarah. Look at that beautiful wood frame. Like, what is happening? Okay, ping Miki to come and look at this wood frame. Okay, go ahead.
No, don't start. Don't ping Miki. Give us like an hour before you ping her.
No, but Angel, does that not look like construction?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. And Matt, I was very entertained. I'm sorry that didn't really appreciate what you were saying. I felt like you were giving an honest contribution and that we can have like a, you know, a lesson learned from this. So,
I get it. I totally get it. We gotta start podcasting.
If you guys are following the news,
have
Ready, can you please mute her? Thank you so much.
Go ahead, Abby.
if you're following the news, you're seeing the reports of all the heightened security and fear.
To establish community land trusts to gradually buy up housing on the private market, converted to community ownership. We can give tenants a right of first refusal to buy out their land rights when buildings
Let me
for
just
sale.
say, there's
And we
two
can
parts.
fully
So
commit
there's
to
the
a new
parade,
era of social housing.
and then there's
Ending
the
subsidies for
evening
luxury housing.
fireworks. But do you think people will be, and I don't want to say gun shy because that would really be a ridiculous pun, but do you think people will be a little squeamish or standoffish, not standoffish, but squeamish about gathering in larger groups? What do you think?
I guess it would depend on where you live.
I was gonna say, in major cities, like, forget it. I used to love to go, like, to my downtown for fireworks. And major crowds, you know, 300, 500,000 people to go watch the fireworks, but no way in hell would, like, yeah, people, no way. And I would, and I I wouldn't subject my children to it. Like, I mean, when I was a kid, it was like the highlight of your summer. But I wouldn't bring my kids into that situation because you just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen.
So, you know,
and is it worth it? Like, is it worth it though? The thing is, like, is it worth it?
No, but yet it's such a tradition of Americans to be in some kind of public place to see the fireworks. Even if you leave the parade aside, you know, and if you think about like beach communities that have celebrations, they do the parades and they do the fireworks.
Okay, I'm putting groceries away.
And I'm hearing you, like a big city for sure. I mean, I grew up in Philly where they would have like tons of people by the art museum, you know, big celebrations. I think they're doing one this year. But the thought, you're right, of a couple 100,000 people and the risk.
The absence of survival instinct is truly impressive.
Hold on. Here's what I'm concerned about, Abby.
Okay, so this kind of year for 4th of July.
I'm not either. I'm going to work.
But I'm
It's not a matter of fear, though. Like, it's not a matter of fear. It's a matter of common sense.
No, here's what my fear is. Okay, let me say what I need to say.
It's not a matter of fear. It's a matter of
let me say what I need to. Okay, so common sense, right? So I just had a fire burning 1,000 feet from my front door just 6 months ago. So this is what my fear is. People with these fireworks and, you know, this whole, you know, La Raza movement and, you know, this no kings deportation shit. In my personal section of America in Los Angeles, I am concerned about the protesters and possible unrest. That is what I wanted to say, Bella.
That's a message from
here in Florida, we're not worried about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in Florida, all I have to do is go to my driveway, and they're like, boom, 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 boom. I'm just worried about my house catching on fire
on a Friday
from some idiot. Oh, yeah, it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be insane. Oh, yeah.
Bella, I did not just have any time to even pull my car up to my house to load up my car. I had to get suitcases.
You know, the difference between California and Florida is that, like, it's gonna rain all week, so at least my house is gonna be moist. That's right. I use the word moist as much as it makes us all cringe. At least maybe that'll help it so that it doesn't catch on fire.
Yeah, so reporting from the Redneck Riviera, there is no concern to go out on the 4th of July.
Well, no. Not zero. Like, would you be in, like, downtown Tampa or downtown Miami? Exactly, so there is concern. That was my point. Like, I used to go out to the city center to gather with 500,000 people to go watch fireworks. And if you think I would
would you go to Coronado if you were in California? Like, would you
absolutely not. Like, Abby, last year for 4th of July, it was a shit show. Like, I went to Huntington Beach and to Newport, it was a shit show.
Really? Even Newport?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes. Like, there was...
That's crazy.
I sent them screenshot photos and I sent them the URL.
They're free of water balloons?
We're talking about the warnings. I mean, it's all over the news. So this year, there's really this heightened...
There is.
Yeah, so when somebody's throwing water balloons when the speed limit is 50 miles an hour and it's coming across your windshield and you can't see until you know now to turn on your windshield wipers, that can definitely cause an accident.
Yeah.
Los Angeles is going to be ground zero for the movement this year, so just be aware.
In California, they fill the water balloons with AIDS.
What does that even mean? Why is that?
What was that? They filled the water balloons with AIDS.
Really big in DC. Why would
So if you're throwing water balloons on PCH, okay, when people are driving, you don't think that that's going to obstruct motorists?
I mean, gosh, love you.
Have you ever gone to the big celebration in DC? Like, I've gone to 4th of July on the mall, and you go through security going in. Like, you have to have a ticket to go into it. But there's, like, a lot of people gathering outside of the area where, you know, you're really just on the grass in the mall. But you're, you know, there's nothing separating you necessarily from the people that are on the street. Maybe some kind of fencing they put up.
Well, to that point, they just held the military parade, the army parade there, and that was right there at the mall. So I would have to venture to guess that at least this year, Trump, it'll be well protected. But in other major cities, I'd be very.
I think they're doing the no scale, what do you call it, defenses around the White House. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, I think it's something related to what you're talking about.
Just maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're prepared.
Well, which one of those, which of any of those things can help us from the nukes from Iran?
Well, Iran can't get a nuke all the way across. Never mind. They don't. Yeah, they could definitely.
Can. I mean, ultimately, they're developing the delivery system that they can get to.
But they don't have it yet that we know of.
Exactly. No, we're talking about lone wolf actors.
Yes, lone wolf actors for sure. Yeah. I mean, and honestly, they don't even have to be from Iran. They could be some crazy kid, they could come from
Iran, they could be right here in America.
Well, can't people be happy that
Well, the nukes aren't here in America. Well, the Iranian nukes aren't here in America. We obviously have nukes. Sorry.
Can't people be happy that there's a new black fence around the White House? Like, I mean, it's just, people just can't just embrace, like, the small stuff.
I'm just saying that in a Midwest city, after I watched the George Floyd riots, and I was on the phone with the mayor's office saying, why the hell are you stopping them from burning down our city? And there was a response from the mayor's office that was like, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and you watch the city get burned and all the businesses go down. Like, no, that's the reason that I won't take my kids into that situation. It doesn't have to do with the warnings. It doesn't have to do with the situation with Iran. It just has to do with common sense that the people in charge in a lot of cities across America are not responsible human beings, and they ultimately don't care if their city's burned. They will just raise the taxes and keep on going.
Yeah, there's definitely, it's problematic when you have people who are pushing racism, pushing gender issues, pushing, the warfare stuff, and on top of that, they're dealing with, everyday lives themselves. And I don't know, there's something about this 4th of July I just think is a little bit different. There's, a lot of things that are kind of taking place in and around this time. Not to, shout this out again, but this big, beautiful bill is on the table. The Diddy trial. There's a lot that's taking place, on the West Coast with the wildfires. There's just a lot that's happening.
Could you imagine that they find Diddy guilty before 4th of July? That's going to be a whole American freak-off. I'm telling you, that's going to be a whole American freak-off, fireworks and everything. I'm telling you. There's going to be baby oil in the street.
If they find him guilty, wait. If they find him guilty or not guilty?
No, I said guilty.
Oh, if they, please, oh my gosh, I was thinking the opposite of if they found him not guilty. I was like, I feel like there's a lot of people who are just gonna have a major uproar about it.
Wow.
But I
think
also,
it's a situation.
I think he's going to get pardoned if he's found guilty.
Well, the thing is, I don't know about that, but the thing is, if you listen to the actual, hold on. If you listen to the actual charges, the racketeering, etc., they don't have the burden of proof, so therefore he shouldn't be found guilty. Is he a disgusting human being? 100%. Like, I want him anywhere near any female that I know? Absolutely not. But the burden of proof for breaking the law isn't there, so it's not. Please don't be shocked if he's found not guilty.
I was gonna say there's I'm sorry, guys.
So I just got an update for that. So I was reading earlier, the jury has come to their ruling. Yeah, they've come to their ruling on out of 5 different counts. So the one they've been hung up on is the first count. And the judge has told him to continue deliberation. I guess they must have
The verdict you're saying on everything but the first count, Joe?
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Abby, so if you look at
released it yet. 4 out of
Did they reach the verdict?
Oh, four out of 5.
no, they didn't. They reached a partial verdict. So
Yeah,
basically,
Okay.
right. So basically, from what I understand, Abby, and you're a better expert than I am, but from listening to what I've been able to listen to, they sent a message to the judge asking them to clarify certain definitions as to the elements of the crime and to how that that rolls into the jury instructions that they've been given, if that makes sense. So I mean, if anybody want to look up what the first charge is, because the first charge and the lower and subsequent charges they were predicate charges. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of one of those things. Did they find him, guilty of prostitution, but not the overall encompassing racketeering charge? You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm kind of just like, what's going on? You know what I mean, Abby? Like it's.
I heard one of the questions that they went to the judge about was, like you're mentioning, Dr. Adams, it was like if someone's at the freak off or whatever at the party and someone asks for drugs, and when you give them the drugs, are you now a distributor of drugs? Like you're not selling it to them and they're asking for it, so is he now distributing if they're just asking for it? I think that was one of the questions that I heard.
Right.
Also,
and I feel like some of the later counts.
Trying to get a juror removed or some shit.
And I feel like some of the other counts, like the count like 4 or 5 or whatever it was just like the promotion of prostitution. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So maybe they found him guilty on that, but then they're not necessarily finding him guilty on the overall sex trafficking. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right, because there's like
Abby, does that even make sense though?
Well, first of all, the first count, and I haven't followed this enough, but the first count was the RICO one, wasn't it?
It's
right.
racketeering.
That's the overall umbrella charge.
Exactly.
Racketeering conspiracy.
But you're asking whether, with the prostitution, whether he was engaged in like what he would have him do versus just someone who's soliciting it. I mean, they're different.
That's what I'm saying. Like for there to be like trafficking, which was and see that's the thing. Like the overall umbrella charge with RICO is just implying that it was a part of a criminal network. Now, two things can be true at the same time, if I'm not correct, to where you can still engage outside of a criminal network and still be guilty of these federal charges for your activities that maybe perhaps a jury found you guilty of. I mean, is that like a correct understanding?
Well, they found him guilty on 4 of the 5. So yes, he can be guilty of the underlying crime, which it sounds like they found him guilty of. And what did they go back? They asked for the elements of the crime. They asked the judge to clarify the jury instructions.
So it could be a difference between
how they apply those elements and whether the elements match the facts.
So could it be like
remember that the jury is a trier of fact.
Well, but I don't think we know that hold on. I don't think that we know that they found him guilty. We just know that they have a partial verdict. We don't know which way those verdicts went.
Yeah,
or did I miss something?
Well, right, but she's basically saying that out of 4 of the 5 have been resolved, so they've made their decision.
Right, but we don't know.
We don't know which of the 4 of the 5.
We don't know. No, and we also don't know which way the 4 of the 5 have.
That's what I'm saying. So again, that's why I'm asking the question. Can he be found? Hold on. I'm asking Abby, and I'm not trying to be. So I just want to stick with this thought for a second. So can he be found guilty for elements of the crime that would contribute to the overall RICO charge without them finding that the overall encompassing RICO charge was a criminal enterprise? Because that basically is the undertone of what is required for the overall RICO charge, correct? Like he could be guilty of these individual acts, but did it relate to a whole entire criminal enterprise? That's a whole nother conversation.
It's also it's the difference with the RICO on sex trafficking can be life in prison. I mean, it also has to do with the penalty, and what there's mandatory penalties. So, but can you be guilty of sex trafficking without having a criminal enterprise? Yes. The question is how advanced that criminal enterprise is, and what you're saying, what you said earlier, and their burden is to, if they met their burden, to show.
Well, I'm basically saying if the jury is, questioning anything on revisiting any sort of instructions on count number 1, then they may perhaps be questioning whether the encompassing acts were a part of a criminal enterprise, as opposed to a standalone act of violating federal law based on those individual acts. And that could, that could be predicated based on participation. That could be, it's one of those things, because a lot of the things in question was the intimidation factor. You know what I mean? As far as, somebody basically feeling intimidated in his station in life, showing a display of violence, in front of them, of feeling like, I had no other choice but to be compliant. So again, maybe the jury is arguing back and forth. Does that go to the overall aspect that everybody worked in tandem to create this criminal enterprise or otherwise? That's what I'm kind of going at. Does that make sense, Abby?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand his lens. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I understand your lens of it, but can I ask, why are you, maybe I'm misunderstanding, why are you saying that the RICO is the umbrella of all of this? I thought it was the racketeering.
Which falls under the RICO.
Yeah, RICO.
Why did I think that it was separate?
No, racketeering is one.
It's one of the same.
It's one of the major components of the RICO Act. It's of the RICO Act. Like it falls underneath that umbrella of RICO.
That's like
So like basically yes. So they came up with the RICO Act, which was racketeering. I forget what the ICO is, but essentially that's how they took down Al Capone and the mob, etc. And these are
the Racketeer Influence and Corruption Organization Act.
Thank you, Abby. I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't know what the others were for. But yeah, so racketeering is under RICO. Angel, that was
So what, maybe when I was listening in the room earlier, did they put something aside out of that RICO? Because wasn't there 5 factors that had to be...
So there's the overall RICO charge, from what I understand, Abby, and then there's other factors that fall under the RICO charge.
Right.
The actual criminal acts under the criminal organization accusation, I guess. It's kind of one of those things where it's it's an umbrella set of terms, and then you have these other charges that sit underneath it, where you could be guilty of those said acts, but at the same time you're not necessarily a criminal enterprise, and that's why I asked for the
But they only have to meet 2 factors out of the racketeering.
Just go with the concept that if you're involved with the RICO charge, you may not have committed one of those crimes directly, but if you're connected with the RICO, then you can be found guilty of that within that whole enterprise. And if that whole enterprise has committed a particular crime, then you can fall under when you talk about umbrella, that's the umbrella. It's do you understand how felony murder works? So bank robbers that go in and rob a bank, and then someone gets murdered. The guy driving the getaway car
is also a part of it too.
Is also a part of it.
Yeah, like anybody in the room.
Okay.
Anybody, exactly. So
yeah. So when I heard earlier,
that's your umbrella.
Yeah. Okay. So when I heard earlier, I don't know what was being said, but for some reason it made it seem like the newest update was that that something was out of that. They eliminated something out of that, and he only needs to get 2 counts out of the said 5 that are under this racketeering, correct?
Well, but Abby, I feel like it's more sensitive than that. I feel like it's where the money was lent, or where the money was given, who assigned certain Right, like who signed a certain directives and who monetized based off of those directives. So, I mean, it and who benefited based on the monetization of those directives. Like, I mean, Abby, are you understanding where I'm going with this?
No,
like, I feel like those
wait,
are
I
kind
don't
of...
keep it enough. I haven't followed this enough to give you an answer.
I haven't either, but I do understand what you're saying. Like, even the security guard at the door, right? Like, there's a lot of... Exactly. And somebody had mentioned earlier in the room, I think it was when we were on Chatter, the question was, where are all the other people that were a part of